The theme of this conference recognizes that language is an exceptionally potential tool for individuals throughout their entire lives. This conference is mainly addressed to researchers of English as a foreign language with a focus on linguistics. Also, for their contribution in the organization of this conference, we had a huge and strong support from our Dean, Professor Sotirovsky. Also, kindest thanks go to our rector, Professor Mema, also University La Sapienza Rome and Better University of Tirana for their support. Special thanks go to all the participants, who decided to give their academic contribution and that enriched the scientific. The theme of this conference recognizes that language is an exceptionally potential tool for individuals throughout their entire lives. This conference is mainly addressed to researchers of English as a foreign language with a focus on linguistics. Number of participants, more than 100. I am sure that this conference will be more than profitable and highly educational and not to be missed event. So in the future, this will be an open gate to host many and more researchers in cross-cultural studies, where your collaboration would again be much appreciated. Thank you for coming here and joining this fruitful conference. Thank you to all.
The Dean of the Faculty of Education here at Alexander Messi University, to our boss at this time, Dr. and Professor Associated Xionela Sotirovsky.
Faleminderit tjera, i nderuar Zoti Rektor, të nderuar antarë të Senatit Akademik dhe Këshillit të Administrimit të Fakultetit të Edukimit, të nderuar dekan të fakulteteve, të cilët keni ardhur sot për të qenë bashkë me ne dhe për mos na lënë vetëm, të nderuar profesor të panelit, faleminderit që jeni bashkë me ne dhe jeni pjesë e konferencës së tretë ndërkombëtare të organizuar nga Fakulteti i Edukimit. Në fakt, këto konferenca nuk janë që ne të rrim të ngrirë gjithkohës, këto konferenca janë që ne të njohim njerëz të rinj, të shkëmbejmë ide të reja dhe të ndajmë me njëri tjetrin risit ose kërkimet ose gjetjet tona të reja në fushat përkatëse për të cilat organizohet konferenca. Jam e bindur që kjo do të ndodhi sot dhe nesër, sepse ne, ndryshe nga herët e tjera, kemi rreth 100 pjesëmarrës, 40 prej të cilëve janë të huaj. Dhe është interesante të them që kemi të huaj nga shumë vende të ndryshme dhe vende që s'ja kishim dëgjuar emrin, jo emrin, e thash gabim, është nga emocionet, si kishim pasur prezent më parë në konferencat tona. Ne kemi miq kësaj radhe, kemi studiues kësaj radhe që na vijnë nga Irani, nga Jemeni, nga Anglia, nga Turqia, nga Spanja, kemi pjesëmarrës nga Brazili, nga Kosova, Maqedonia, Mali i Zi dhe më falni nëse kam harruar Italia, patjetër, nëse kam harruar ndonjë nga miqtë tanë të ardhur. Nuk dua të flas shumë për përmbajtjen e konferencës, sepse konferenca seriozitetin dhe cilësinë do ta vërtetoj sot në panele dhe nesër gjatë gjithë ditës. Është e hershme që unë të flas për suksesin që ne do të korrim, por jam e bindur që me të vërtet do të kemi prezantime shkencore shumë dinjitoze. Unë juftoj të gjithëve ta shijojmë këtë konferencë dhe i ftoj miq që kanë ardhur nga jashtë Durrësit që përveç konferencës të shijojnë dhe qytetin e bukur të Durrësit, të shijojnë Bregdetin dhe në orën 7:30 dhe darkën gala që ne kemi organizuar. Faleminderit gjithëve dhe suksese.
Thank you, friend, colleague. Now it is one of the people who lead this university, the Honorable Rector of this university, Professor Mithat Mema.
Nderuara dekane, nderuar profesor Exherli, dekani Universitetit Bedër, nderuar profesor Buçpapaj, profesoresh Tabaku, që na keni nderuar nga Universiteti i Tiranës, që na keni nderuar me pjesëmarrjen tuaj në këtë konferencë, të nderuar antarë të Senatit, dekan, të nderuar kolegë nga gjithë universitetet, jo vetëm nga universiteti jonë, por nga gjithë universitetet që marrin pjesë dhe institucionet akademike, kërkimore, shkencore nga e gjithë bota. Është kënaqësi që të marrësh pjesë në një konferencë të tillë të organizuar nga Fakulteti i Edukimit. Shpesh na pëlqente që në raste të tilla të thonim që ne jemi të ri dhe kemi arritur, kemi bërë, tashmë nuk jemi më të ri, tashmë jemi të konsoliduar. Fakulteti i Edukimit tashmë është i konsoliduar dhe vetëm në këtë vit fal punës së stafit drejtues, por fal punës së stafit akademik të fakultetit, organizonin, mos gaboj, 2 konferenca, keni dhe një tjetër në shtator. Kjo tregon për përkushtimin e madh të gjithë stafit akademik dhe vërteton dhe një herë atë të cilën ne kemi thënë dhe e themi, entuziazmi dhe egoizmi i mirë profesional i moshës së stafit ton bën të mundur që ne të ecim përpara, të tregojmë se kush jemi. Të nderuar kolegë, një nga aspektet dhe veçoritë më të rëndësishme të konferencave që organizon universiteti jonë, të gjitha njësitë kryesore, është fakti i mosmarrjes së përgjegjësisë së organizimit vetëm nga një departament apo nga një fakultet apo vetëm nga universiteti jonë, por ndarja e kësaj përgjegjësie dhe e kësaj pune me shumë institucione të tjera akademike. Dhe kjo nuk ndodh sepse ne nuk mundemi ta organizojmë vetë një konferencë, sepse nuk kemi kapacitetet ta organizojmë vetë një konferencë shkencore të këtij niveli dhe të niveleve më të mëdha. Por ne besojmë dhe mendojmë që rruga më e mirë e organizimit dhe e nxjerrjes së konkluzioneve nga konferencat është rruga e bashkëpunimit, është rruga e kombinimit të gjithë aftësive, të gjithë kolegëve, jo vetëm nga universitetet shqiptare, shqipfolse, të rajonit, por dhe të gjithë botës. Bota akademike është një botë e lirë dhe mua më bëhet qefi që ne kemi studiues që nga Brazili i largët, që nga Irani i largët, dhe deri tek pa folur për bashkombësit tonë, kosovarët dhe maqedonasit, tetovarët, kryesisht. Pra, kjo është një nga veçoritë dhe karakteristikat kryesore dhe mendoj që i bën konferencat tona më të suksesshme, më të frymëdhënëse. Natyrisht që të flasësh në një konferencë ku tema është shumë atraktive dhe shumë aktuale, që lidhet me gjuhën angleze, e cila, siç e dim, jo vetëm në shkencë, por dhe në ekonomi dhe në gjithë fushat e jetës ka marrë rëndësinë e saj. Aq më shumë nga një individ i cili gjuhën angleze nuk e ka gjuhë pune, por e ka gjuhë për të studiuar, për të punuar, është shumë e vështirë të flasësh lirshëm siç flet profesor Piro apo profesoresh Sotirovski apo pjesa më e madhe e pjesëtarëve në këtë konferencë. Padyshim që kjo është një cilësi, një veçori, një e mirë të cilën ju e keni dhe duhet ta vini në funksion dhe në qëllim jo vetëm të zhvillimit tuaj profesional, por dhe zhvillimit institucional të universitetit. Edhe një herë dua të falenderoj organizatorët e konferencës dhe gjej rastin të sjell dhe përshëndetjet e rektorit të Universitetit të La Sapiences, i cili e ka mbështetur, ka qenë bashkëorganizator, jo rektori vetë kuptohet, stafi i Universitetit të La Sapiences në këtë konferencë. Natyrisht dekani do të sjelli përshëndetjet e Universitetit Bedër dhe t'ju përshëndes dhe nga ana ime në emër të gjithë Universitetit Aleksandër Mojsiu Durrës. Suksese pjesëmarrësve dhe urimet më të mira për fakultetin, për departamentin dhe për të gjithë. Ju falenderoj.
Mr. Rector, now I would like to give the floor in the time of speech to one of our keynote speakers invited today, the Dean of Humanities Faculty of Beda University, Mr. Ahmet Echirli.
Thank you.
dear rector, dear professors, dear colleagues, and dear participants. In fact, I was not expecting to be a keynote speaker at this conference. I don't think I deserve this honorable invitation. But anyway, I would like to introduce you, remind you, just go over a well-known topic, just to underline the importance of using technology in teaching methodology, especially in English teaching as a foreign language. Since English is a technology in itself, it's a foreign introduction to second language speakers. It is considered as already an introduction to an element from a developed region of the world. But even if it is the case, it needs also to be taught, integrated with new technology, which is advancing day by day. And we teachers, lecturers, have accumulated knowledge, enough experience of teaching English as a second language, maybe relied on the former methodology that we used to practice in our teaching way. So we have to think about, we should think about again and again, and we should adapt ourselves into the new advancement in technologies, teaching technologies. I taught English at the high school in Africa, where I was in the year 2006. I had to teach English because there was no one else in my school. I was the founder of the school there in Burkina Faso. And even in African countries, the teenagers, they live in a period of great expansion with information technology. They have access to technology. Internet is everywhere. Whether the country is developed, third or second world country, internet brings us the technology, introduces us the advancement in the technology. and until then, I was aware of the fact that I myself relied on the methodology of my teachers, who used to teach me in my age. And I relied on their methodology in my teachings. Then their methodology, their techniques attracted my attention and helped me go through the materials in a fast, intense pace. Then I became aware of the fact that students want to have a different teacher-student relationship. They want to see a different teacher than a traditional one. And they want to have another way of interaction between teacher and student. Maybe a more friendly way of teaching, learning, integrated with new technology. And I remember a case when one of my colleagues, an English teacher of an old generation, was given a recently introduced, published textbook from Oxford, and she was supposed to use that textbook in her classes. And later on, I was reported that she still insisted on teaching grammar, showing formulas on the board, with pluses and equal signs, like teaching mathematics, teaching the way the mathematics is supposed to be taught. And she also said that these recently appearing young guys do not know how to teach English. And when she was suggested to use the textbook by the students. Indeed, it is hard work for teacher to prepare materials,
because it takes time. It needs studying new techniques or new forms of exercises. It takes time, requires patience with some reluctant students, but at the same time there will be many others who will like it as it is not impossible. Success in teaching foreign languages depends less on materials and techniques rather on what happens between people who interact in the classroom. Interactive teaching, student is at the center. This is not only in foreign language environment, but also in other sciences. At this century, computer and internet occupy an important place in the lives of young people. Student-centered type of teaching comes from the need of adaptability of school, which has respond necessities and requirements of labor market. Traditional teaching has three characteristics. It is first curriculum-based. It is built on previous accumulation of knowledge, and it reduces preparation time for teachers because they rely on their experience only. And teaching is based on textbook. Traditional perspective brings teacher to the center rather than the student. And the teacher is supposed to transmit knowledge to passive groups of students. And the emphasis on memorizing facts and giving correct responses. The modern teaching approach goes beyond the textbook. It is student-centered. The role of teacher is supervising, not controlling. Students are assumed to take their own responsibility in learning. Developing student skills is through confronting the issues to be addressed in different ways. Problems are placed in meaningful contexts and in challenging ways which appeal to different types of intelligence. And this is about the theory of multiple intelligences by Howard Gardner. Looking forward to this promotes modern design and requires teachers' self-development. And it increases the number as well as the variety of materials they design. And what we call active learning process reduces students' passiveness through meaningful and familiar context in which students become more active. Traditional type of teacher has been gradually superseded by active learning methods, working in a team, in pair, brainstorming, groups, galleries, tours, cubes, snowball methods, mosaic methods, discussions, symbolizing, role play, and etc. Internet in the teaching of English and foreign languages in general has a great importance because it provides teacher and student innovative websites containing texts, pictures, and audiovisual materials useful for lesson plans or projects. Moreover, there are many sites devoted entirely for lesson plans, ideas, worksheets, audio-video clips, or materials already made, ready, and appropriate for teaching methodology of English. Of course, there are sites that offer real support for students in learning English with these interactive exercises. Internet has become a preferred source of many English teachers, and not only because it contains a large amount of material that inspires creativity and communication, but it represents facts which break the routines. And I would like to introduce some of the sites that offer real support for teachers of English. I don't know if I can write, if I can type. All right. Just maybe a text document can be. All right. So there are three sites that I would like your attention. One of them is British Council org, right? So .org. And second one is OK.UK. You know about this site. OK.UK. UK. And the other one is Randall's ESL Listening Lab, which is written as ESL lab.com. So please, whenever you have time, just try to visit these sites. These are very useful websites in either introducing, studying English teaching materials or self-studying materials for students themselves. All right. So all these internet sites are for all those who intend to learn English regardless of their intelligence level, and they provide audiovisual practice. Preference for using the internet in teaching English provides numerous benefits for teachers and students, such as instant feedback, learning in a pleasant environment, and accumulation of knowledge. Okay, I am just coming to the conclusion part. Here in my article, I provided a course plan, but I will not read them now. And I would like to refer you, after publishing, to have a look at it. And this course is proposed to be integrated as a course with integrated audiovisual materials support, and that can be an example of many other. Okay. Interactive teaching and learning of English, differentiated according to the type of intelligence of each student, requires their involvement in different projects and learning activities, which demonstrate their skills and talents, motivating them and facilitating a greater knowledge. Only by using meaningful context, students will learn and remember what they learn, the role of the teacher, and they serve as a mentor for the students' acquisition process. All right, thank you very much for listening.
Right, I would like to give the floor to one of my personal first teachers, one of the best English-speaking persons that I've met first in my life, and I'm sure for some of us also in here when we were studying English. I would like to give the floor to the illustrious Professor Uk Zanel Buchbaba.
Thank you very much. Dear leaders of the baby university cradling in the ancient city, kissing the Adriatic Sea. Dear honorable participants, I would like to bless you first in Albania, in Albanian, Tunja Tjeda. I really feel honored, emotional, and humble to be a part of your scientific wedding ceremony. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. My topic is language. I trust in God, I trust in language, and I trust in woman. These three constitute the triangle of the foundations upon which I have built my castle of love and knowledge. And there is nothing like sharing knowledge with another man like you. And I really thank God a lot for not enabling man to become the sole owner of knowledge, forcing us into battles that strengthen relations of love and respect among people. My approach today is mystic and poetic. The style is somewhat Socratic. First, to make you laugh, I love to just give a short test, and if anyone knows to find what I want you to find out, I'd really love it. It's a short dialogue going between, it's a short dialogue involving three strangers. And the first one says, Alali Sera. The second one said, Alafi Chera. The third one said, Kurslali Sera Kulafi Chera. Now, let me start with my topic. Language is a sacred gift. A language is a mysterious substance we are conceived with in our mother's womb. At the beginning, it reveals itself in the shape of crying, which, regardless of changing later into transferable sound units, namely numbers and words, never leaves us in the lurch, sometimes because of our sheer happiness, sometimes because of our piercing sadness. So far, however, scientists have been unable to signify the constituents of crying, which more or less sounds like the speech of birds, of animals, and of plants. They also have failed to decode crying in semantic terms. Hence, the following questions arise automatically. Is crying a kind of speech? Does crying consist of words whose meanings are unidentifiable? Does crying convey particular thoughts and messages? Why can't our eyes catch crying? Does crying vary within the same man and from man to man? Why does crying remain unrepeatable? Why doesn't crying help human communication? Why can't crying be put to paper? Why is crying untranslatable? Why do we, despite our nationality or mother tongue, seem to produce the same crying patterns? Why are mouth and eyes simultaneous sources of crying? Why is crying accompanied with tears? What is the difference between us and animals concerning crying? Why didn't crying cease to exist after the birth of numbers and words? Why does the Bible say, first was the Word, instead of saying, first was, is, and will be Christ? The key to open the gates of this daily caps got lost when we began to disdain, neglect, and disregard crime. Substantial pieces of evidence of human activity show that we have become masters of the art of causing crime. Language is a sacred gift because it consists of crying, numbers, and words. Because crying, numbers, and words are built up of sounds. Because sounds are the colors of the soul's light, namely of the mind's sun. Because language, spirit, and soul are inseparable parts of a single whole, which create one another successively, traveling back and forth from the sky to the body and vice versa. Hence, the spirit contains the soul contains the language, and the language contains both the spirit and the soul. Hence, all breathing beings, be them humans, animals, or things, have their own individual languages. Hence, language is a living, fragile flower of unusual beauties and unrevealed secrets. Moreover, the sacredness of patterns exists only in the language. Any other work or activity related to human minds and hands excluded. Thus, for instance, we cannot produce a pair of ordinary shoes without taking the measure of food, without making the required mold, without having the required leather, without finding the required needle, thread, glue, and other necessary relevant raw materials. Then, what is the force that makes sounds stick together in each separate word? Why don't they fall apart? Why don't they scatter on the ground when they cross the threshold of our lips? Why don't they collide with one another? Why don't they get entangled? Why don't they stand in one another's way, creating traffic jams in our daily conversations? Why don't they break into pieces? Why don't they get wet? Why don't they stop moving in the air? Why do they always travel all over the universe at a fascinating speed, matching that of light? Why don't they get shot and killed by thunderbolts? Why don't they mix up with mists or clouds, or dust or dew, or rain or hail or snow, and return to the earth? Why can't they be caught by our eyes? Why can't they be touched by our hands? Why don't they enter the interlocutor's mouth or nose as flies do? Of course, the proponents of the belief that man is descendant of the ape cannot provide adequate answers to such questions. So, using words, and even worse, raping words to distort language intentionally or to ruin one's life is the deadliest sin, which leads to the destruction of the Creator's sanctified property. Additionally, one can come to the conclusion that the first musical instrument, the most perfect one, to say the least, is mouth. We can use mouth and nose to breathe in and out, yet we cannot use the latter to speak or sing. Language is a sacred gift because word has three souls. 1, the heavenly soul. 2, the human soul. 3, the semantic soul. They form a unified whole, melting into voice, their essence and their expression, which never dies or perishes. Thus, all words, these wonderful, heavenly, incredible, immortal, and flowing truths, live forever, flying simultaneously from mouth to mouth, and from mouth to space and paper. Otherwise, we would have become speechless. Language enables us to share knowledge in time and space. Language enables us to speak and shut up. Language enables us to laugh and weep. Language enables us to embrace love and hate, peace and war, freedom and oppression, friendship and hostility, progress and backwardness. Language enables us to translate ourselves into others as well as others into ourselves. Language enables perfection and mistake and fault. Thus, language enables both good and evil. Language is the flesh and blood of thought. Language is dynamic and static. Thus, no human activity can be performed without the help of an outside language. Language is the root, the tree, the branch, the leaf, the flower, the fruit, and the seed. Without language, there is no thought. Without thought, there is no communication. Without communication, there is no action. Without action, there is no life. Thus, language is life itself. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Oak, for that final and most decisive lecture regarding language, because I don't think there would be another thought about language. Now I would like to give the floor to one of the best supporters for raising the quality of this department through different master and also PhD qualifications, now being the head of the English Language Department at the University of Tirana. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Elida Tabako. Thank you.